Hey everyone, Marcin here, co-founder at RedStone, one of the major oracles that is a launch partner for MegaETH. Today with me I have Brad. Brad, thanks a lot for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Marcin.
So it's a week before MegaETH launch when we are recording it. Exciting times. Brad, tell me maybe first what you are the most looking forward to. It's been over 12 months you've been waiting for that moment of the mainnet launch. What you are so
Mm.
excited about?
Yeah, I'll sandbag a little bit here and say like we haven't given an official date. We've given a range, so like hopefully everything continues to go well and we open the gates fully next week. But yeah, man, it's been a while. So like my personal journey, I joined November of last year, so it's a year and 3 months, 4 months at this point of building. And frankly, I'm just ready to talk about something that's real because like there's only so long you can talk about a testnet chain and testnet stuff. Now, stress tests going on right now. People are seeing a little bit of that. You're seeing like the chain is real, the tech is real. We're doing a bunch of crazy stuff, and you can touch it, you can feel it, you can see it, you can do all this stuff. But yeah, so I mean, it's exciting. I'm ready. I think everyone's ready. We're ready. I'm ready. Just need to push it over the finish line now.
Excellent. We are ready as well. And for what it's worth, you're one of those people in crypto that I highly appreciate and respect because not only you're hardworking and you deliver, but you're also very cool. So cool person. So
I appreciate that. I'll put it on my fridge. That's cute.
uh, originally you were a KOL watching Mega from the outside. At what point did it click that this wasn't just another project to cover a Twitter thread or about, but something you wanted to commit full time into?
Yeah, I even now my account's pretty decent size, right? I'm at like with 60,000 followers or something. I still hate being a KOL. It's just like so, but like I appreciate it. I think it's a endearing from you. Yeah, like so I was just trying to like make my way in this space. I like my background is in healthcare IT. Right? I was a healthcare IT consultant for 10 years, 11 years, international traveling, doing all this stuff. And like, I had a very like traditional, career before crypto, but I wanted to be in crypto because blockchain fascinated me on the technical side. I was a little bit of an educator, technical person, but also talking to like C-suites in my old life. So like I had built some products. I had spent about a year in the ecosystem, frankly, not even working. I'd done kind of my career that I was like, all right, I'm just going to like dedicate time to doing this thing and seeing if I can make it sustainable. And that's where I was doing the threading and the educating and stuff because that's kind of what I was doing in my previous career. Right, I was the guy who was personable and could talk and break down complex topics for the C-suite people on the technical side. So I was the one that represented all the technical teams and like reported to them and said what we're doing, why we're doing it, all that stuff. And I kind of brought that to the timeline with crypto. I noticed everyone wanted to engage in the tech, but they couldn't necessarily understand it. So I just like talked about it. Anyways, on that like year-long journey of just like participating, educating, trying to do stuff, writing articles about data availability, I saw the raise announcement from MegaETH. This was, I think, their second raise. So it was the Dragonfly announcement, 20 million from Vitalik, whatever. And as I do normally when I say, okay, something dropped, it's interesting, let me just like read. And I remember I may go find it. I just did a tweet. I was like, man, I thought MegaETH was a scam. Like I heard the name MegaETH. I thought Ethereum Max. I was like, I had heard it in like probably 3 to 6 months before that. I was like, it feels scammy. But I read the white paper that they published with it, and I was like, one, like Yilong and Lei, who are the technical co-founders. Yilong is the CEO, Lei is the CTO. Like these are exceptionally accomplished. Like they're very, very smart, very accomplished people. So it's like, all right, if it's a scam, like coming from some good stuff. And then it aligned with like the architecture they're going for, their actual roadmap, and like how they envisioned like building this stuff. Actually aligned with where I was drifting sentiment wise inside of the industry, where I was like, man, I don't think everyone wants a gajillion chains. Everyone just wants like a big fast chain. They just want a big fast chain. And like I saw that I was drifting personally. I'm from the Ethereum ecosystem. I was drifting towards like the Solanas of the world. It was like it may not be able to handle the load of the world, but it can probably have a higher density of value because it just has a lot of conveniences to it. It's composable. You don't have to worry about a bunch of change. You don't have to bridge. You don't have to there's no liquidity fragmentation. So I was doing that. And then I was like, well, like if what they're doing is true and they're leaning into like some of the structural advantages of being a L2 construction, which we are, they stand to build it the biggest, fastest singular state environment. So it just aligned with that. And then after talking to Namik and Shu and Amir, the rest of the people on the team, yeah, I was like, I have free time. It's like, I don't know what I would do. It's like, but I'm a professional. I've been a professional. I will help you guys out. I'm just going to keep tweeting in the meantime. And then, yeah, I eventually just joined.
Beautiful. I think what's the best in that story from my perspective is that you really had to make like a flip from being super suspicious about the chain and the whole narrative around it when you just heard it from the beginning, and then diving deeper into to properly set up your mind. Really, really cool story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the name, right? The name is just so egregiously like again, the Ethereum Max is like what everyone has in their mind. That was like the Kim Kardashian chain, if you remember that, like the scam from 2021. So I was just like, that's immediately what I thought of.
Nice. When you push performance at the chain level, infrastructure often becomes the bottleneck. Why do you believe standard oracles wouldn't be the best fit for MegaETH to harness all the goodies that MegaETH actually offers to the builders and the participants?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're seeing the infrastructure breaking stuff going on right now, right? We're pushing, it was 16,000 TPS. Now we're pushing 21,000 TPS, like 2.6 gigagas, which is insane relative to the field right now. And everything's breaking. Nodes can't keep up. Our block explorer is like 3 days behind. Like, it's not great. Just to show like that it's true. Like, it can't. On the Oracle question, I think the way that I've always visualized like the attack vector or like the susceptibility of crypto is like, if you understand a blockchain, blockchains are just like rapid snapshots of reality, right? It's like, this is state, this is state, this is state, this is state, and then you have time, the transition between the two. Usually that's buttoned up with like consensus, whatever else. But there's a lot of details in like why all those things are what they are. But the state, at least in the EVM world, or like that timestamp is usually the block times, right? That's usually the time it takes for consensus. That's the time it takes for the block to build, all this stuff. There's a lot of reasons why some block times are longer than others, but to harness MegaETH, our methodology is just that, like, to drive that block time to basically zero. And we do that, or at least in my mind, the attack vector of the other side of that is that, like, all these snapshots, all of the time that you allow between the snapshots is opportunity for manipulation. It's opportunity for like I don't want to say it's manipulation all the time, but just like scheming. There's like just like it's drift, right? It's drift from reality, right? You snapshot, this is real, and then everything until that next snapshot is the opportunity for someone to come in there and say, there is a gap between now the current reality and what is the reality on chain, the state snapshot, and therefore I can take advantage of it. I can arbitrage it, and I can do whatever. I can take advantage of it. I can manipulate things to break it. So with that in mind, we're driving that snapshot interval to basically zero. Our block times are at 10 milliseconds, so reality does not really have much of a chance to drift. That reduces the opportunity for MEV, that reduces the opportunity for Oracle manipulation, that reduces the opportunity for a lot of things that are traditionally been like a attack vector for blockchains. And like, you have to understand that the chain is one component of that stuff, right? The chain has its own worldview, and you need that worldview to be syncing with everything else in the world. So even if MegaETH as an entity is having those snapshots rapidly at 10 milliseconds, 5 milliseconds, 1 millisecond, it does not matter if it does not have the ability to synchronize with the rest of the world that is exterior to everything that it knows that is like birthed within the ecosystem. And that typically comes from oracles, as you know. So like, you require working with teams like RedStone to basically take the outside world and keep up with that 10 millisecond driving to zero snapshot. Because if you don't have those two things in sync, man, it doesn't matter if MegaETH is updating super rapidly. If it is drifting from the actual off-chain price of things, and there's no way to actually like intrinsically link those things, then you still open yourself up for manipulation, for errors, for liquidations, for like all kinds of bad things that are just like maybe not necessarily true, because right, it's not true because like the things aren't in sync, right? Like you can get liquidated on a price and it's not the real price of the thing, not the global price, because nothing was syncing those prices. If you have something like a RedStone Bolt pushing that price on chain, that then allows you to say, well, now those two things are in sync. Like the MegaETH worldview and the actual world are now in sync with each other, and because of that, you remove some attack surface area.
Excellent. Yeah, so if the on-chain world is running so fast, it has to have this continuous update from the off-chain world as well to ensure that there's the sync between the two. And in general, talking about oracles, right? Because for us it's an important aspect. How do you imagine a bad scenario with an oracle? Like what happens if it misprices something on MegaETH? What's going to be the potential damage?
Yeah, like that. This is like just like a general thing. Like this is why oracles are pretty crucial for our ecosystem, right? So it's not even a Mega thing. It's a, it becomes detrimental because, like, all of the stuff that's built inside of the contracts, right, is like based on pricing to make sure like smart contract or the DeFi protocols have to protect themselves from like bad liquidations and things, right? So if MegaETH is saying one thing and the on-chain price gets pushed in a direction that like maybe our specific pool for this specific asset is too small to represent the actual price of the thing, and you don't have something like a RedStone pulling in the external price, like from all of the liquidity of centralized exchanges, other major changes, our chains, etc., then you run the risk of like someone coming in and locally pushing the price of something beyond or outside the parameters of like what would prevent someone from being liquidated, and then someone could be liquidated erroneously, right? So like if I have a position in a DeFi protocol and says I get liquidated when ETH is $1,000, if the global price of ETH never gets to $1,000, but you're only taking your information from the local state with like the local pool of ETH, and that thing is small enough that someone with $10,000 can come in and just like rapidly push it to get outside of that 1,000, you're liquidated because locally it's $1,000, but globally it's still $3,000, and that doesn't feel good, right? Because it's not the true price of the asset. Yeah.
Very true, and even more so for new ecosystems, the on-chain liquidity is crucial because native assets might only have trading on on-chain dexes, like in MegaETH example, for example, Kumbaya, right? Yep. And then even more important is to make sure that the methodology implement is robust. So for example, with RedStone, we look at not only VWAP, but also volume weighted average pricing, but also liquidity weighted average pricing. So making sure that wash trading is not going to skew the price. Zooming out a little bit towards MegaETH in general, one thing that struck me very early on when I entered the ecosystem was that you try to attract particular type of builders into the ecosystem. And also you try to differentiate between vendors and long-term partners. What signals told you which camp RedStone was in early on?
For me personally, like, I know your conversations actually started with the MegaETH team prior to me joining the team. But for me, the signals that I typically look for how to engage with someone and where they're actually can maybe stand to be long term is based on, it's kind of a nebulous thing, but it's just like the energy someone gives you. And it sounds kumbaya-y, hippy dippy is maybe another word, but like that's honestly what it, like I feel like there's you should notice the type of energy people are willing to give to you, and it's on a certain wavelength. And if it is like it's positive, it's not positive, it's positive, it's high energy, they're proactive in the stuff that they're doing, they're engaged in the conversations, they're always like, whenever someone is giving you all of these signals that they are someone that can be a potential long-term partner, because that's someone that's like, they're going to be there, they're going to be thoughtful, they're going to be responsive, they're going to be willing to work with you on stuff. Like not everything is just like strictly down to the contract, because like you just got to make stuff work. I find that useful. So like that kind of stuff is what allows me to bucket people into like, okay, this is someone I want to make sure that I return the type of energy that they give to me, because I think that's how you develop lasting relationships.
Brilliant. Yeah, from our side, we always try to take an extra mile. So one thing is what you have in the contract and what you are obliged to deliver. But the other thing is also like how you proactively think to support the ecosystem, make your partners grow, and also connect the dots like Web3, crypto, DeFi. It's full of opportunities. So you have to constantly think like who I should connect with or what kind of new feature I can suggest someone else to maybe implement or think about.
Yeah, yeah, it's like now like I think that's pretty apparent in our ecosystem. You're probably seeing a lot of announcements on the timeline, or people who are listening to this are seeing announcements on the timeline that you'll see, teams like Euphoria, Avon, whatever, they all coming forward and say that they're working with RedStone Bolt because you guys were there early and you're doing the BD work, right? You're doing the stuff that needs to be done to like ingrain yourself in the ecosystem and be helpful.
I remember early days when MegaETH team was deciding which Oracle to partner with, they told me, hey, go to the ecosystem teams and make them like you, make them believe you're the right partner to work with. And this is exactly what we did. And we continue, and we are very much dedicated to having this kind of high standard and reputation among the builders out there. But going back to MegaETH, when you're building MegaETH, what qualities do you need from infrastructure to actually sleep at night? I mean, not only Oracle partners, but in general, what would be the major requirements you would have?
Thirst. And I say that as like, because like the thirst on like and like passion for like actually building this stuff out, because like we're gonna force engineering challenges on everyone around us. And I noticed like that was something that you guys were excited about, where it's like, look, man, you and I had these conversations several times. You're like, look, this is where the industry's going. Like everything's going to compress to zero. And we think if we spend the time to do the engineering challenges now, like that's the frontier, right? That's the end state. If we can meet this here, we're set. And we can then basically be applied everywhere for the rest of the time. And now, like, obviously technology never stops. So there's going to be like more challenges that come, but I do believe that like we're going to force end state on a lot of people, and they're forced to have to level up. And if you don't enjoy trying to level up and like meet challenges on like the engineering side specifically, then like it's not the game for you. So like we need people that are as thirsty as us when it comes to like trying to push the edge of performance.
Yeah, in that ecosystem, you cannot get comfy. You have to be all the time on the edge and proactively think about solutions and new implementations. So that's actually pretty accurate. Okay, going towards the end, I want to ask you about one of the funniest story from the ecosystem you would like maybe to share, or someone you met that impressed you, something that is personal to you for building in MegaETH.
Okay, curveball. This is something that's been a funny story or someone that's impressed me inside of the ecosystem.
Yeah,
let's see. I would say the guys on Rocket are like they've been in the industry for a while, and they actually founded Genie. Genie was sold to Uniswap back in the day. It was an NFT platform, and like these guys are like hearing some of the stories of what's going on underneath the surface of this industry that you participate in. You just learn there's so many levels to this, where it's like these guys like owned 40% of NFT volume for like a year and a half across like Blur and OpenSea and whatever. And they were driving a lot of the innovation on the Genie side. Obviously it was sold to Uniswap. And then now seeing them go through the iterative process, like it wasn't like, it's not so much like a funny story, but just like coming to appreciate like the levels of, I don't know, the levels of people, like the different types of people that exist in this industry, and how this industry being permissionless allows all of these people to participate and thrive, and they can just like do it without, man, I never would have met this guy. I never would have come across his Twitter account. Like these guys are like, I would have no idea they exist, but they just come out and they have such like deep, thoughtful insights on the industry that I don't know, like this is just like a broad thing to the ecosystem. I feel like we're doing pretty good at attracting these types of people that are just like finally feeling like they can actually challenge themselves and like push the stuff and like are finally excited to build again. But them in particular have stuck out to me in the last few months, just like some of the conversations I've had with them.
Yeah, like I had a call with Rocket for the first time a couple of weeks back, and they are extremely smart people, and we
Oh
are
yeah,
glad to.
Polish.
Yeah. I mean, they are not Polish, I think Belarusian, but still, like
Oh
we
yeah.
are excited to work together. And they, funny enough, they have office across ours, so that was like a
Oh no
pretty
shit.
surprising one that we were on a call, and it turned out that literally like 500 meters was like separating us from each other.
Hell yeah. Well, another reason for me to come hang out.
Yeah, you should come to Warsaw for sure. All right, the very last one, if I can.
Yeah.
What are the final thoughts about RedStone and MegaETH ecosystem you'd like to share with the public going towards the mainnet?
Um, don't be afraid to engage with either of us. I think like even now it's kind of prescient for you guys because like I saw that Redstone, you guys reach out to us and like with Mega Team like, hey, we want to be like we want to actually be part of the community, right? We want to be ingrained with you guys. We want to like showcase that we're here to help, like we're gonna be useful. You did that with us. You guys rocked some custom fluffles for a little bit, and then now this week you're working with the Bad Buns team, which is the NFT project, and the Prism team also doing stuff inside of the ecosystem. I just think it's cool to show that you're a team that is willing to participate, and if there are people within the ecosystem for Mega that are like excited and you guys want to I don't know, like interact with like I feel like it's kind of segregated where it's like there's like the professional side of crypto, which is what I never participated in until I joined MegaETH, right? Like this is a different side, like making connections with you, doing all this stuff. And then there's like the social layer of crypto, which is just like the pure like NFT bros, traders, like that just sit at like a different level. They don't work in the industry per se, like not as like a protocol thing. So it's cool to have teams like yourself that are willing to like blur that line a little bit and engage with like the social layer of crypto. So I would say don't be afraid to reach out and try to engage and try to like, yeah, participate.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Brad, for joining over here. I can tell you, you have not seen every thing that we've prepared for MegaETH launch, also from the community perspective.
Oh, fun.
We are recording it before you see like our launch campaign, so I can already tell you it's going to be awesome, and you're going to be impressed.
Oh, sick. And for people listening, like I'm the marketing guy on Meggy. So if I don't know, then like I'm the one that should know. So like this is a true mystery. This is exciting. Yeah.
Yes, we want to surprise everyone and take by surprise. All right. Thanks a lot, Brett. Looking forward to the launch itself, and it's been fantastic to have you over here.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Okay, so I'm going to stop recording, and there's this,